All right, I'm seeing if this is working. I've got a whole new setup and I'm trying to figure out how to use it. So bear with me just a second. Let's see what we get. Oops. All right. Seems to be working, which is good. I'm going to give people a chance to get on here. All right. All right, let's see what we get. All right, I see a couple people are getting on here. Hi, good to see you guys. If you don't mind just popping on the chat and just letting me know if you can hear me. I have a whole new setup and I'm trying to make sure it's working right because I'm really not that technically savvy. So I'm trying to figure it out as I go. Hey, Jean. Hi, Glinda. All right, so is there an echo or anything? No echo, I'm hoping? Hopefully there's no echo. Okay, cool. So I don't know if you all are familiar with this case that came out of Florida this week. He accidentally shot his pregnant wife in the middle of the night. But there are some really strange details about it that have me wondering about it. Now, where this happened, there's something called Marsy's Law. And what that means is that they limit what information is legally allowed to be given to the public, and that's to protect the victim. And I think that that is absolutely fantastic because I know there are certain media outlets that will literally put out a victim's name, their address, where they work, how much they make, and it just re-victimizes the person all over again, and it's completely unnecessary. So, this particular Jean, this particular story, they didn't give the people's names. And I think that that's good because we can still talk about the incident without having to publicly make anyone look guilty of a crime that they may not have committed. So that being said, the guy says that he and his wife were sleeping and he heard a noise outside their bedroom door in the middle of the night. And he thought that it was an intruder. So he says that he rolled over and felt his wife, her body in the bed, which we later found out was actually the family dog. Because dogs and people, you know, they feel the same in the bed. But anyhow, so he says that he heard what he believed to be an intruder, and he got up, went and grabbed his gun, and went into the hallway outside of their bedroom. And he says that he saw a shape, a shadow or a shape, and he pulled the trigger, shooting one round. And then he realized that he had actually shot his pregnant wife. So he calls 911, frantically calls and says, I accidentally shot my wife, pleading for them to get there, for them to help. And what's really strange is that after this happened, he claims he went through the house and turned all the lights on, which, why would you do that, right? So, this place, right? But there's more to it. So, in addition, exactly, Jean, that's like gun control 101. You never shoot at something that you can't see. And here's the real kicker. They have a 2-year-old little boy, right? So Jean is a friend of mine, And I know, Jean, you're a parent just like me. If I heard a noise outside my bedroom door in the middle of the night, my first thought would be that my child got out of bed and they were either scared, hungry, had to go to the bathroom, or wet the bed, something. But my initial reaction and my initial thought would be, as a parent of a 2-year-old, that the noise I heard outside my bedroom door was my child, and my child wanted mommy and daddy, right? That's the first thing I would think. Now, let's give the guy the benefit of the doubt. Let's say, for some reason, he didn't think that, and he legitimately thought that there was an intruder in the house, okay? If you think there's an intruder outside your bedroom door, right outside of the room where your 6-month pregnant wife is sleeping, would you not say to your wife something along the lines of, shh, I think somebody's in the house. I want you to go, this is just, a scenario. I want you to go in the closet, shut the door, and don't come out until I tell you everything's okay. Right? No, he left, apparently, he felt her body in the bed and he just got up and grabbed his gun and opened the bedroom door. Right? Now, if you think an intruder is right outside your bedroom door, would you not tell your wife to go hide before you opened the door to a potential intruder, knowing that an altercation may ensue and that your wife might be in danger? Right? I mean, this is common sense stuff. Yeah. Hey, babe, stay here. I heard something. Or, hey, I don't know the little boy's name, but we'll just call him Michael just for a discussion. Hey, I think Michael's out of bed. Do you want me to get up and check on him, or do you? Or, go ahead and just keep, stay asleep. I'll go check on him. But you wouldn't just open your bedroom door to where you believe an intruder is standing while your wife is laying there in the bed on the other side of the door. It doesn't make sense. So with this, he says that he saw a shape, right? And he shot 1 round. So then he puts all the lights on in the house, which doesn't make any sense. He takes the 2-year-old and brings him out of the house, and he goes outside with the kid. He's holding the kid under the carport, waiting for EMTs and police to get there. And that's another good question. She got out of bed and closed the bedroom door? Good question. That's a really good point. Because if I get up to get a drink or go to the bathroom, I don't close the door. Unless maybe she didn't want the light to get in the room, but still, I'm not believing the story, right? So some people are saying, why didn't he stay by his wife's side? And they think that it's weird that he would have taken the kid, gone outside, and not stayed by his wife's side while she was bleeding out in the hallway. But I will say, in a situation like that, the last thing you would want would be for your little boy to see his mom like that. So as awful as it would be to not be at her side, you would have to take the kid out of the house. You'd have to, right? Although I don't believe this story that he's telling. So let's see here. All right. No alarms, no cameras tripped. That's, I don't know if there was anybody, a neighbor that had a doorbell camera that might be able to see if their house lights were actually on, but I'm curious about that. And the other thing, I have one of those doorbell cameras, and when it gets a notification, it lights up on my phone. So if I thought, in fact, this has happened to me. I thought somebody was outside trying to get in my door one time, and I was like, let me check on my phone because I'll be able to see what's going on outside. And luckily there was nobody there. But if they do have a doorbell camera, I'm curious to know if he bothered to look to see if anybody had actually even come in the house, because I would do that, right? Let's see. Oh, and another thing, if you are the wife, right? You're the wife, you get up, you're pregnant, you probably have to pee. If you're the wife and you see your husband come out of your bedroom in the middle of the night with a gun, aren't you going to say, babe, it's just me? Right? Aren't you going to be like, whoa, don't, it's just me. What's the matter with you? Or, let alone the fact that this guy, if he believed his wife was in bed, which is questionable, but I mean, you just shoot. He could have killed his own kid. Who does that? Right? So if this guy is actually that paranoid that at the first sound he hears, he just starts shooting, then he had no business having a gun anyway. How about him not knowing what his wife's shadow looked like? I don't know that I would know, though, right? One of the things that they said, Jean, is that the police are saying so far the husband's story adds up. But surely they would not say otherwise if they didn't think so anyway, because they don't want to tip their hand. But they are saying that even though they believe at this point that the husband's story does in fact line up with the scenario, they are still doing an investigation, because any time somebody is shot and killed, they always, by protocol, do an investigation. And one of the things that they're doing that I thought was really, really interesting, they are having a specialist come out to the house to determine, based on the time of day, the husband saying the lights were off, where he was standing and where the wife was shot, what his actual visibility would have been in that situation, to see whether or not it was actually his wife. Like, could and should he have been able to see that that was his wife? And based on the fact that he shot her right outside the bedroom door, to me, you must have seen something more than just a shadow. A shadow would be if she was standing somewhere else and a shape came around and you saw that. But if she was standing right in front of the door and you shot her, I just don't understand how you can say you didn't know it was your wife. And how did the wife not be like, oh my God, you scared me, right? If you looked up and all of a sudden somebody's standing there with a gun, you would think she would have said something and he would have known, oh crap, it's my wife. Let me put this thing down, right? Yeah, Glenda, it sounds like there's at least a little doubt. And did the husband have PTSD, military? I don't know. Again, due to that Marsy's law, there's very limited personal information that they are allowed to put out. And again, I really think that that's good. I know that they were in their early 30s. Police said that they had never been out to the house for any disturbances of any kind. So they had no reason to believe that there was any sort of domestic abuse. They had no calls out there. A friend of the husband's and the wife said he had done an interview, and it was really, really short, but he said that they've all been friends since they were in school, and the husband is a stand-up guy, and he would never do anything to hurt anybody, especially his wife. But everybody says that, right? Even Jeffrey Dahmer had friends. So you never really know what goes on behind closed doors. But I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Now, there is a good piece of this story. The EMTs transported his wife to the hospital, and these amazing doctors and nurses. I mean, think about this. A pregnant woman comes in, she's bleeding out, and you're faced with, do I try and save her? Do I try and save the unborn baby? Do I try and save both? And they were able to save the unborn baby, which is amazing, especially considering that she was only 6 months pregnant. So that was a good piece of the story. And then obviously the wife was pronounced dead at the hospital. But I don't know. It's just weird. Again, who in the world would just automatically shoot somebody in the hallway when they have a kid in the house and they don't know if it's the kid? And it just seems like, how do I say it? It seems like he had everything down that he should say to protect himself. Like, I reached over and felt her body in the bed, which we then learned later was actually, he said, the family dog. But I don't know. It's just weird. The whole thing is just weird. And yeah, I am so glad that the baby made it too. That would be 10 times worse. But here, you've got this little boy now. He's without his mom. And this baby, it's just so sad. The whole thing is just so sad to put together. You would think they'd have a night light for you know what, Jean? I thought the same thing. If somebody ever came into my house, like dogs know, right? They can smell, they have senses, they know. My dogs would go crazy, and his dog did nothing. The physician will try to save the life of their patient, the mother. Well, yeah, because if the mom dies, then the baby, goes too. But yeah, you would think the dog would have done something or barked, and you have to wonder, maybe did they have like, one of those monitors in the kids' room, the 2-year-old's room? Maybe that picked something up. And this is just me thinking out loud, but how do we even know the husband was there all night? How do we know he was even sleeping in bed? I mean, for all we know, and I don't know this, I'm just saying for argument's sake, he could have been out drinking, just saying, comes rolling in at 2:00 in the morning. The wife is upset. She's 6 months pregnant. Why are you out till 2 a.m. drinking? They get into a thing. He shoots the wife, right? I mean, how do we know that didn't happen? So hopefully police are checking doorbell cameras of neighbors to see if the car was there all night, right? Which I would imagine they already did, but I'm just saying, putting it out there. But yeah, the dog would have moved or something. And if you thought the dog was your wife, then maybe whatever was making the noise in the hallway was the dog, right? So why do you automatically assume that somebody is breaking in when you have a dog and a kid in the house? And this is outside your bedroom door, where it makes perfect sense for a little kid to be in the middle of the night if they're scared and they want mommy and daddy. So it just, I don't know. This whole thing is strange. Does anybody else have any thoughts on how law enforcement can verify the husband's story? Like, do you have any idea what else they can do to verify it? Unless they have a mastiff. What do you mean? I don't know what you mean. But I will say, though, I'm really surprised that police seem to be taking, well, actually, I take that back. Police said that so far the husband's story seems to line up, but that they don't ever just take somebody's word at I can't even talk, word at face value. They don't just take anybody's word for it. So yes, they are going to investigate. Yeah, they don't have much. They really don't have much. I'm wondering, why would you, if you shot your wife by accident, why would you go through the house and turn all the lights on? That doesn't make any sense. So I'm thinking that the lights were already on, but he had to say he went through and turned the lights on after, if he's claiming he shot her because it was dark and he couldn't see, right? Oh yeah, Mastiff could be mistaken as a human, but I'm not even saying the size of it. I'm saying just hearing a noise in the first place, right? If you hear a noise in the hallway, my first thought is it's Caleb or it's the dog, one of the dogs, So I don't know. It's just weird. It's strange. So what do you think? Do you think, okay, Crime Fighter says he's guilty in my opinion. No way he didn't. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, Yeah, his story is very well put together, right? I felt a body that was my wife, right? I mean, what did you literally roll over to feel to see if there was a body there? And if so, does a dog really feel like your 6-month pregnant wife? This is stupid. Yeah, if you accidentally, you would be a mess. And according to police, when they arrived, he was literally screaming, "Help my wife." But I didn't see him, so I can't say if I believe he was genuine or if it was an act. Or, I mean, you look at, what's his name, Chris Watts or Scott Peterson. Both of them killed their pregnant wives, and they definitely acted upset, right? Let's see. Trying to make sure I didn't miss any comments. But yeah, I don't know. Do you, is there a mistress? There usually is if the person did it on purpose, right? Scott Peterson had a mistress. Chris Watts had a mistress. Didn't want the next baby. You know what I mean? You know how your pregnant wife sounds, feels, smells. Give me a break. This guy is guilty. I agree with you, Crime Fighter. I agree with you 100%. There is no way I could mistake my dog for if I had a husband, there's no way I could mistake my dog for my husband. It's just not going to happen, I mean, did his wife have fur? Come on. He could be upset with guilt. Again, I just have a real hard time believing that any sane, rational human being that has a 2-year-old in their house would automatically shoot a shape in the dark outside their bedroom door. My dog don't smell like my wife. That's a good thing. If your dog smells like your wife, either you're bathing the dog in like Pantene Pro V, or your wife, she needs some perfume. But I don't know. What else can they check to verify the husband's story? I'm wondering, and you know what? Fortunately and unfortunately, the son is only 2. So even if the little boy, and I hope to God he didn't see anything, but if he did, he can't even verbalize that to law enforcement, and they would say he's too young to be a viable witness. They would, but more than anything, I hope to God that little boy didn't see anything. And that's the other thing. Think about that. Okay. If you shot your wife and she was bleeding out on the floor in front of your bedroom, and you were taking your 2-year-old out of the house to make sure that the kid did not see mommy like that. Wouldn't you keep the lights off? Why would you put the light on? All of the lights. Now, if he had just put the hallway light on and then, to see who he shot, maybe I could believe that. But he put every light on in the house. Why would you do that? You would be doing everything you could to make sure that your son didn't see mommy like that, right? I mean, I know it's not even remotely close to the same thing, but I had a dog that, oh, I love this dog. He was always paranoid. He was always trying to get out and escape. And he tried to jump like an 8-foot fence, and his paw got stuck. And I think he may have had a heart attack when that happened. I don't really know. But his teeth were in our fence, and I knew he was gone. And at the time, my son was 2, and I was a mess. I couldn't breathe. I didn't know what to do. I was falling apart. I literally was in the middle of a panic attack. And still in the middle of all that, my main concern was making sure that my little boy, who was also 2 at the time, did not see that scene. That was my biggest concern in the middle of having an emotional breakdown, was make sure the kid doesn't see. So I did everything I could to make sure that was out of his sight. The last thing I would do would be to shine a light on it and be like, hey, there it is. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I believe it was in the head, right? He discharged 1 round. Where did he hit I think he shot her in the head, but I'm not sure. I think he shot her in the head, which I don't know. I don't know how far. I want to know how far away from his wife he was when he shot her. Because, for one, I mean, unless you're a really honed shooter, from what I understand, it's not that easy to, from a distance, shoot somebody directly in the head, like maybe in the shoulder. And maybe I'm wrong, but this is just based on my little experience with guns, right? And so if he was that far away, would he have been that good of a shot that his first round shot her right in the head and killed her? And if he wasn't that good of a shot, he would have to have been a lot closer to her, in which case, don't you think he would have known and been able to see it was his wife? My kids would never. I only have 1, but man, I mean, you protect your kids at all costs, which again, why in the heck would you pull the trigger not knowing if it might be your 2-year-old that's in the hallway? You got to be out of your mind. It's crazy. I don't get it. So they are going to continue to investigate it. I bet, some of the questions that I have are certain things that they're going to investigate, like how far from her he was when he shot her. And then they have an expert coming in that will determine what his visibility should have been in that situation, in the dark, at that distance. So that'll be interesting. No way, if he was so disoriented he couldn't tell it was his wife, he shouldn't have made that shot. Yeah, absolutely not. Right? Absolutely not. I mean, if this guy, if he's telling the truth, man, this guy had absolutely no business having a gun. No business. Absolutely. Glenda, I will update it if they come out with any more information. If they don't, then I'm going to be wondering about it just as much as you are, but I'm going to keep an eye on the news and see if they update the info for sure. And if they do, I will update you too, because it's an interesting, I'm curious. I'm curious. But anyhow, unless anybody else has any comments or questions on this story, I'm going to go ahead and jump off. So I'll give you a second to see if anybody has any other comments, questions, thoughts, any of the above before I jump off here. Yeah, that's a pretty damn good shot for firing off one round in the dark. Think about that too. Not only is that like you have to be a real good shot to hit somebody directly in the middle of the head, which is what I think happened, but in the pitch black on top of it. I am not buying that for a second. I didn't even think about that till right now. That's a great shot when there's light on, let alone in the pitch black. Think about it. Crime fighter. Seriously, you hear what I'm saying, right? Oh, thank you. I'm glad you caught the live too. but right? I don't know if you are someone who shoots, but damn, to shoot somebody in the middle of the head at all is you are a good shot. But doing that in the pitch black? Come on, man. No, I'm not buying it. Nope. Negative. So, all right. I'm going to jump off here. I appreciate you guys. If you don't subscribe to the channel, will you please do so? And also, if you guys don't mind, I'm trying to build up my followers. So if you don't mind sharing some of the videos on your social media, that would be awesome. And I will catch you guys soon. I think he practiced before I jump off. Practice shooting so he could kill his wife? Maybe. Perhaps. My thought, personally, I think he was really close to her. I think he was close enough that he got that shot. And if that's true, then he was certainly close enough to know who he was shooting. That's what I think. So, but we'll see if they update us. I really hope they do, because this case is going to drive me crazy. But thank you, Glinda. Thank you, Crime Fighter. Thank you, Gene. You guys are the best. Have a fantastic weekend, and I hope to catch you on the next live. Bye, guys.